Welcome to another edition of Biro Sports Talk. I'm your host, as always, Biro, and let's not forget Evo Retro, all your gaming needs, gaming merch, etc. You know, that is what we are about. We're about everything from your gaming wants and needs, and we talk about sports every Thursday. So, speaking of which, for every Thursday, your host with the most is Biro. Don't mind the earpiece. Just finally, hey Melissa, what is up? Glad to see you made it. But like I said, don't mind the earpiece. The earpiece is just for me to stay pumped, basically. Hey, Strictly Bearded. Glad to see you made it, bud. Guy's been a little MIA. Just kidding. But anyways. Oh, I've been great. How have you guys been? But as I was mentioning, though, if you have any sports questions, you can always email us, ByroSportsTalk@gmail.com. Dude, you could say the same for me. Hurts. Problem is, you stream when I work or in my sleep. But I'm not going to get into that. It's all good, though. But as I was saying, yes, you can email us. Doesn't matter if it's sports or anything. You can always email us at ByroSportsTalk@gmail.com. Also, follow us on all the different platforms. You got Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And comes the fun part. We're going to talk some NFL draft previews. So we said previews mostly because we are going to do the AFC West, NFC West, and I believe I picked the South. I like how I already forgot what I picked. I believe I picked the South. Why did I pick the South? Because, the South isn't the North. Personally, I usually pick the North last because that's the one I feel closer to. It's where my favorite team is. And just makes the most sense to do it last because, if I'm going to talk the most about that specific one, that should be the one I talk about. I'm trying to pull up some things here. I might be able to just use that one and conquer the many. So we're going to use that to help us. Oh no, is this from last year? Oh no, it is. We're going to see if they have a 2020. Nope, no 2022. That's disappointing. So yeah, I see everyone is out there having a good time, relaxing before work, says Bearded. Because, working that grind takes a big toll on all of us. Yeah, I'm just trying to get AFC West. I want to know their picks so I have an idea, honestly, of where they're picking. Because I know there's been some trades, don't get me wrong. Mostly it's the East and the South of the NFC West. Double checking here. Nope, that's last year too. See, I know it. I can tell by looking at it. Definitely ready for the first shift setting. Them Saints, right? Dude, the first shift is so much nicer. I'm not going to lie. Granted, most of my life has always been first shift. The last time I worked anything remotely late shift. But what is the NFL draft exactly? Great question, Melissa. There's coming from a family of teachers. I have to say the old cliche. There is no such thing as a stupid question. So the NFL draft is where college players become eligible to become professionals, and the draft is how the professional teams decide who they play for. Now, most professional sports will just, well, worldwide professional sports, usually you just see teams sign to someone. So, like, Arsenal or Liverpool will just sign this kid to their club team, raise them through the system that way, and then they become a professional that way. In American sports, what we do is you play in high school, you go to college and play for the most part. Baseball, you can do that as well, but baseball out of high school, you can also go pro. But baseball's complicated, so we're going to try to stick to just the NFL. So the NFL, in this scenario for American football, you go to high school, you then go to college for about 3 to 4 years at least. Then you declare for the draft. And when you declare for the draft, that makes you eligible to be a professional. And then there's 7 rounds where these professional teams can get the rights to you. Now, I say the rights because, yes, they can sign you, but at the same time, they don't have to. And even if they do sign you, it doesn't mean you make the roster. You can also make the practice team. Practice team is just usually younger players that, there we go, that's what I need. Where you can draft players or young players that if you get injuries or other things, you can pretty much have players on hand for you. And I get that, Bearded Man. That'd be great. I know it would maybe affect your schedule. I know you'd probably change how you do yours, but... Oh, and you're welcome, Alyssa. I'm glad I can... I hope I explained that very well. Let's see. Yep, this is 2022. Let me make sure these are updated. April 4th, yeah, so pretty much updated. It's going to be difficult, but you know, I like to use a website for the, I think, I can't remember if it's Walter Football. Yeah, it is Walter Football. So anyways, let's dive in, shall we? So, just double checking. Okay, yeah. So this year, what we're going to focus on, we're going to do mostly first round because, you know, that's just what I tend to do anyways. And we can tackle needs as well for per team. Maybe. There we go. Yeah, we'll just do this. So very simple team's biggest needs, which always comes in handy. Like I said, we're going to start with the AFC West. So the AFC West, I know it's probably why Bearded is here. We're talking about, you know, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Chiefs, and the Broncos. So, with that of note, Chargers, one of those teams, they were 9-8 last year. They got Mike Williams back. They traded for Khalil Mack, which was huge. They signed J.C. Jackson, signed Gerald Everett, a decent tight end, and got some defensive tackle help. Their biggest needs, according to USA Today, just so we know where the source is, they have tackle, center, cornerback, and linebacker. Well, cornerback, you can never have too many cornerbacks. Linebacker, again, another position you can't have too many of. And offensive line's always a need for a lot of teams. So where are the Chargers picking? Well, let's find it. It looks like, of course, the later half of the draft, which is always a positive. So at pick 17 in the Walter football draft, speaking of ends, linebackers, etc., so the Chargers, they have the Chargers going with David Ojabo of Michigan, defensive end. Now, the logic I understand. I really do. So here's their logic for this pick. So they have it interesting because first, they did trade for Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack, awkward moment, I started up way too early because I can't do research. So how early did you start up, Chronic? That's what I want to know. So how early did you start? Like, is it another hour or 2 hours till? Oh man, sorry to hear that. That's okay. So wait, so is the thing going to take 2 hours or it starts in 2 hours? I'm trying to understand. Oh yeah, the delay. I forgot about that. But as we talk about that, let's. So yeah, they just got Mac. It starts at 9. Okay, so it starts in 2 hours. Gotcha. So speaking of the Chargers, thanks for the information though, Chronic, because I know I asked about it since I was watching yours before I started. So again, Chargers, they have them picking defensive end David Ojabo, defensive end out of Michigan. Reasoning, they don't believe Khalil Mack will want to be at Los Angeles for a long-term solution. And I get that. He was a former Raider. He might not like to be a Charger. Ajobo, though, had a torn Achilles at the end of the season, but he is expected to be available in 2022. So people don't expect him to fall. And I do think putting him behind two very good defensive ends and Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa will let him grow and get up to speed to really become a factor. See, the Raiders. Strictly Bearded's Raiders. Another team. Big offseason. They traded for Devontae Adams, got Demarcus Robinson, signed Chandler Jones, signed Anthony Everett, traded for Rockyason, and signed Bilal Nichols and Vernon Butler. The last Bears player they signed, though, didn't pan out right away. Raid? You want to raid after? Is that what you're getting at? Yeah, man, I can raid yet. Raiders, yeah. Yeah. But anyways, the Raiders, this is a big one. Cornerback, they always need a cornerback. Oh, gotcha. Offensive line, again, everyone needs offensive line, defense tackle, and safety. I do like the idea. If I can find... Ooh, do they have a pick? I would think they would be a later pick, but they might have traded it away. We're going to double check. I think they traded away their first round pick. But since they traded away their first round pick to get Devontae Adams, we're going to see about their second round pick. Because I'd like to get one pick out there for you guys. Oh, and of course, my ears don't hold earpieces very well all the time. Well, when do the Raiders draft? Because I don't see them in the second round. Alright, let's try a third round. Third round shouldn't be too bad. Not gonna lie, the earpiece part makes it hard not to sing along with the music. And for supposedly having decent internet speeds, man, I'm getting slow internet tonight. Not gonna lie, it's kind of a downer. While I'm waiting for the Raiders, let's see if I can find somebody else to talk about. You know, like Kansas City Chiefs. Another team, Justin Reed, Deion Bush signed, both safeties. Re-signed Orlando Brown Jr. Their big signings were wide receiver with Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. The big thing is, though, they lost so many wide receivers that it's uncanny, man. They lost to Marcus Robinson, they lost Byron Pringle, and they lost Tyreek Hill. They say their draft needs are wide receiver, corner, safety, edge rusher, offense. If I had to pretty much say, or pick a team, I should say, pick one. Oh my goodness, man. Why is this not loading? I wonder if it's their website, honestly. Oh yeah, it's their website. Ah, you gotta love it. Gotta love websites that take forever. We'll see if I can get it back. But hey, if you're here, I greatly appreciate it. If you don't mind giving it a follow, a like, a subscribe. You know, we are on all sorts of platforms. So whether you're on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, or if you're somehow watching this on Twitter, don't think we're streaming on Instagram, but you know, it's all fun and games. There we go. How's it gonna make me sign in? Oh, it actually won't. Interesting. Alright, back. Let's see. Did I not see the Raiders again? I don't want that. No one cares about quarterbacks only. Woo! I'm supposed to be able to do some sort of stream on Twitter. Yeah, I'm supposed to post on there somehow, but I'm not quite sure how it works. If it's like just a live feed that connects to it through Facebook or something like that, but I'm supposed to be able to do something with Restream. I just couldn't tell you what exactly it does with Twitter. I know it posts on there when I go live, but besides that, that's about all I know. It's supposed to do something else. That's all I know. My link on and tweet, I know. That's about the gist of what I do too. Alright. We got a different one now. Because we're fancy, huh? So now we're looking at NFL.com, of course. NFL.com has their own draft predictions because, you know, that's how things work. So we're going to go in this third round thinking we'll find the Raiders somehow. Because for some reason I thought the Raiders had an earlier pick. And to confirm... Ah! These are the camper scouts. No. There we go. When the computer isn't muted. And it is. It's for third round's their first pick. Alright, so they have the Raiders going offensive tackle, Max Mitchell, senior. I like the pick. It makes a lot of sense. Get protection when you can. So, great pickup. Can't complain. As we were saying, though, Kansas City Chiefs, though, now that we got the Raiders out of the way. Man, that third round pick took forever to get there. But the Chiefs, you know, they want wide receiver, cornerback. I mean, cornerback would be the bigger need. But you almost got to go with best available at times when you're the later rounds. And they're going with a Purdue kid, edge rusher, George Karlaftis. Ooh, ouch. Butchered. Get it going. Totally butchered. But, you know, I like the pick. Something that Kansas City is missing right now is some defense, solid defense. And I think that would be the best thing for them. So where does that leave us with the AFC West? Well, the rest of the AFC West is pretty easy. It's the Denver Broncos, who we didn't even talk about. They were 7-10. Made a big splash trading for Russell Wilson. Signed Randy Gregory. Signed Billy Turner, Tom Compton. Re-signed Graham Glasgow. And signed Alex Singleton. Defensive tackle, offensive tackle, tight end, linebackers, what they say. They got a lot of good pieces coming back to help. And with the quarterback, it should solve a lot of issues. Ooh, when's their first pick? I thought they would be... I thought they still had it for... they traded it away. Of course they did. So they probably... Man... Are they another one that doesn't pick till the third round? You'd think I would memorize this by now. Looks like they did trade the second rounder away as well. Ooh, but they do have one at the end of the second round. So the Broncos do pick at the end of the second round. They have the Broncos going with an offensive tackle. Kentucky senior Darian Kinnard. Honestly, couldn't tell you much about the kid. I know Kentucky had a surprisingly very well-rounded season. They exceeded expectations. He's a tall kid. He's more than likely going to be a solid player. They don't expect him to be great, but I think he could easily be a solid player. And with Russell there, you kind of need that solid cornerstone there. Let's try to do this NFC West now, shall we? So, again, the issue with running back and forth. between divisions, trying to figure out who's who and what's what. So in the NFC West, always fun, always fun. Ooh, up to 2 on Facebook. What do you know? But in the NFC West, man, you got the Seahawks, the 49ers. Don't know why I'm drawing a blank. It's probably because there's music playing in my ear, of course. Being distracted. But, as I was saying, 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, you know, your Super Bowl champions, and of course, the Cardinals. So who's going to come up first on the screen? Come on, there's the Cardinals. All right, Cardinals had a strong 11-6 season. What they did, they signed Will Hernandez. They re-signed Max Williams and Zach Ertz. But they could use a lot of other things like corner, tackle, wide receiver, edge rusher, defense tackle. Christian Kirk left. A.J. Green is a free agent and was so-so. DeAndre Hopkins is, well, DeAndre Hopkins still, even though he's 30. It'll be interesting because I just don't know how they expect to fill holes. So with that, let's see what they have. So the Cardinals, they're picking 23rd. Just to confirm, they don't have any earlier. Nope, they don't. So 23rd. And in this NFL.com draft, they got a guard going to them. Boston College senior Zion Johnson. Versatile, strength, and mobility. They should consider him lucky that he's already ready-made starter. Thing is, though, I look at these NFC West, they're missing something. They just lost a bunch of pieces. I do think corner, who the very next pick, or 2 picks after this on this mock-up, Trent McDuffie is right there. Not a bad guy. Chris Olave, wide receivers there. If they wanted to go offense, I think those would be better picks than this guard. I don't think Kyler Murray was sacked that much. It says 106, which got to be multiple years. Like, no joke, that's got to be multiple years. Okay, so yeah, he had 31. So not terrible. Not great. He had 27 the year before, and he had 48 his first year. Again, could be better, but not bad. If they think he's running around too much, I could see this guard. I don't think he's running around as bad as they're saying. But they will definitely draft O-line. They'll draft, a number of these positions. So where were we? We got other teams, of course. We got the 49ers, who were 10-7. Travaris Ward, they re-signed Daniel Brunskill. They're still trying to trade Jimmy Garoppolo for some reason. They need corner, offensive guard, edge rusher, and safety. Honestly, they need offensive talent, man. They need something to spark that offense, and I just can't pinpoint it for some reason. Because even with Garoppolo, they should be blowing it up and scoring. So the first pick I see for your 49ers of San Francisco, I see an edge rusher, Cameron Thomas from San Diego State. I don't know if another edge rusher is what they need. Because when they look at the USA Today team needs, I see cornerback, I see offensive guard, I see edge rusher, I see safety. Again, I see edge rusher, but you have Nick Bosa, you have some other guys there. If you really need as many as you can get, Cameron Thomas makes sense. Personally, going after a guy might be good. I don't know at the end of the second round you can find a guy though. That's the problem. You need someone explosive. Like if you could get a good running back in second round, I would say go there, but I don't see any names popping up at the end of the second round for that. Oh boy. Here. All right. Oh no. The Rams 12-5, your Super Bowl champions. They don't have any day one picks. They signed Bobby Wagner, signed Allen Robinson. They just are stacking that team to go for a repeat. They say defensive tackle, corner, edge, and punter. Apparently they don't have a pick in the first 100. Ouch. But that means round 3? Question mark. Yes. So their first pick is pick 104. They have them selecting Dylan Parham, center out of Memphis. I can't complain at all, man. Really can't. I think another offensive line is a good idea. Do I think defensive tackle would be good? Yes. Darnold's talked about retiring, and I get it. I do. Problem is, I think they would prefer to do a line, make sure that Stafford stays upright, keep winning Super Bowls. You know, make it simple in that route. Man, as I just sit here trying to listen, feel myself swaying, man. Music, what can I say? All right, last team of the NFC West. You got the Seahawks, man. They were 7-10. Surprisingly, they put together that good of a record at 7-10. They signed Uchenna Nwasu. They traded for Noah Fant, Andrew Locke, they won't mention. Traded for Shelby Harris and re-signed Rashad Penny. They need quarterback, offensive line, corner, linebacker, edge rusher, and defensive line. So, what does the NFL Today, or NFL.com, have them picking? They do have multiple picks, I believe, right? Or just the one. I see the one from Denver. They might have gotten rid of one. Yeah, they got rid of one. So they have the one from Denver, which is the number 9. Number 9. They have him picking Ike Ekwonu, offensive tackle, junior out of North Carolina State. And they say for now, they'll assume that the Seahawks will get Baker Mayfield, perhaps, question mark. Which is the big rumor right now. Everyone's thinking Mayfield will end up leaving the Browns some way, going to the The Seahawks, because that's the one with the biggest opening right now. With Mayfield there, they will probably do okay. I'm looking at them more of a 8-9 team, 7-10 team still, though. I don't think they'll improve much. But I don't mind this Icky Ekwonu pick because they really need offensive line to really protect their users. All right. Because, that took a while. But we got the whole South to do still. Because, we got to do the South. I needed to do 2 this week. We're going to do 2 this week. Get it done. So we'll start with the number 1 pick overall again. Jacksonville Jaguars, 3-14. They re-signed Cam Robinson, which was a bright spot. Got Brandon Scherf, another good lineman. Signed Christian Kirk and Zay Jones, who could be good 2 and 3 wide receivers. Got Foyeswade Alukan, I so messed up his name. Linebacker signed Foley Fatukazi. Messed that up. And cornerback Darius Williams. Thank you. They say edge rusher, center, inside linebacker, safety, corner. They do have talented wide receivers already. And Kirk and Jones helps. Kirk could probably be a number 1, but I'm going to list him as a 2 right now. So who do they have him going first? They got Aiden Hutchinson, man. He was pretty devastating edge rusher for Michigan. He did okay. I think he's the choice if that's what you need, which is an edge rusher. I mean, you look at the other positions, center, inside linebacker, you can kind of get those later on. You can kind of get those in the next round and still get quality. They have him going corner in the second round. But I could even see him going with, like, Pickens, who was a junior out of Georgia and was talented. I could even see, like, some guards and other players, man. There's some talent out there. But hey, if you are watching this on Facebook, because I do see someone's out there on Facebook. If you're on Twitch, feel free to comment, man. I will try and address everything as I go. Because the great thing about what I use, which is Restream.io, I can see all your guys' comments. And I believe you... I know on Twitch I can see comments from other platforms. I need to re-look at my Facebook and other stuff to see if those do the same thing. Just saying. But I try and address every comment to the best of my ability. Another team in that AFC South, though, you got the Texans, man. The Texans signed Cameron Reeves-Maybin and re-signed Malik Collins and got rid of Deshaun Watson to the Browns. So what does this mean? How do they... What? I'm confused now. I'm not going to lie. I don't need projected trades, though, man. If that's the case, it's just throwing me off. And that's exactly what it looks like. Anyways, we're going to go with the 13th pick right now, just because I see Derek Stingley Jr., which is a good pickup for them. A nice cornerback. And the only thing they say is they need everything but left tackle. You know, looking at it, if they really wanted a quarterback, they might wait a year. But if they really wanted one, Kenny Pickett's there. Malik Willis could be there. There's guys there that they could go after. But I do like the safety pickup for the second pick. Wouldn't be surprised if they went offensive line, so like an Evan Neal, who's a tackle. Yeah, and then you're kind of stretching anything. Even if you wanted like a Trayvon Walker, nice edge rusher as well, I'd be okay with that. Come on, still in the South. We're looking. We've talked about the Jaguars. We talked about the Colts. I think Colts would actually be next. Because we actually did Jaguars and the Texans. So, yes, next would be the Colts. Colts were 9-8 on the year. Once again, they traded away Carson Wentz. However, they got Matt Ryan. They traded for Yannick Njoku and signed Brandon Fasison. Fasison, you know, terrible name for me to try to pronounce. Man, I am sorry. I wish I was better at enunciating names. But I'll be honest, I'm terrible. Terrible. So, what do the Colts need? They say wide receiver, tight end, offensive line, edge rusher, corner. No day one picks, meaning no round one picks. I do see a round 2 that they get from the Washington trade, which is number 42, going with Bernhard Raimann from Rayman, Central Michigan offensive tackle senior. Should have. I don't think they traded their other, but they might have, which is fine. So not bad. That leaves one team. The Titans, of course. It's the Titans, man. They've been right there for so long. They need something. So the Titans, they re-signed Harold Landry. They re-signed Zach Cunningham. And they traded for Robert Woods, you know, a former good receiver who's not particularly good anymore. Let's just be honest and say how it is. I mean, that's kind of mean to say it, but man, he hasn't done much in a hot second. But I like Robert Woods. And the Titans are a consistent team. I say this has to be a make or break year, man. Like they have to break through this year, man. Before you think about breaking it up. My goodness, they did it again. I don't like projected trades though, man, because it's throwing this whole draft situation all over the place. So let's see. So they need defensive tackle, offensive line, tight end, and wide receiver. They kind of need a good wide receiver. And I mean, right there, Chris Olave, great potential right there. That would be a perfect one for them. Defensive tackle in that scenario, there's probably no one really right there. There's no one really in offensive line, no one really in tight end. So you're kind of looking at wide receiver or trading, which is kind of the honest opinion. Because, you know, that's how it is. Anyways. We went through that pretty quick. Because, man, I am trying to pound this out. We are probably one of the longest Biro Sports Talks in a long time. So the NFC South. Man, now we're looking at a division that's going to have a change of face for sure. And I say that because the only team that will probably be consistent will be the Buccaneers. So the Panthers, 5-12, they have the number 6 pick. They signed Bradley Bozeman, Austin Corbett. They re-signed Dante Jackson, signed Xavier Woods, and signed Johnny Hecker. Ooh. Decent punter. What they really need, though, is a quarterback. Linebacker, offensive tackle, wide receiver. So, according to this one, where Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett are drafted, they have them going with Matt Corral. Do I think Corral's the one? Maybe not, but I think a Pickett... If I had to pick one of these guys, though, I think Willis would be the best suited. Otherwise, if Willis isn't there, I think Corral's the guy. I think Pickett just doesn't match the Panthers' wants or needs. That's why I would say the other. If they had to go a different position, though, because Evan Neal's right there, tackle. What's some other positions? Linebacker. Yeah, you're probably stretching. Drake London's probably stretching. Out receiver. So I think you either make or break there. Oh, don't do that, Michael. What are you doing? There we go. Get it back. Oh, man. So there's the Falcons, though. The team that traded away their franchise quarterback. They signed Casey Hayward, signed Lorenzo Carter, and signed Marcus Mariota. You know, long-time backup for the Raiders, now former starter for the Titans. They opted to rebuild, though, this coming year. They have a broken, and I mean broken, team right now. And I see this as this. So I would go wide receiver, personally. If they go quarterback, Kenny Pickett, I mean, they have them trading up to get Kenny Pickett, but if not Kenny Pickett, Matt Corral. Drake London again for wide receiver. Sam Howell is a decent choice as well, but man, this guy's aggressively drafting these quarterbacks, and I just don't see these quarterbacks getting drafted that aggressively. So those are who I would go, though, for the Falcons, who really need receiver, and I think they'll try to draft some receivers, just not in the first round. That leaves two teams left. One losing their longtime starter 2 years ago. One who thought they were losing their starter, but he's back. So we'll start with the one that lost their longtime starter 2 seasons ago. Thought they had the answer. Oh, Melissa, that's funny. Testing out those new commands, huh? That's funny. So the Saints have the 16th and 19th pick. They re-signed Jameis Winston, re-signed Traquan Smith, and signed Marcus May. Let's see, I said 16-19. Oh, not another trade. Anyways. This has different picks, but whatever. We'll go with what... We'll assume they have 2, since this is what this says. Quarterback, wide receiver, offensive tackle, defensive tackle. I think they'll go offensive tackle, so like a Charles Cross is a good pick from Mississippi State. Defensive tackle, you got Devontae Wyatt. Garrett Wilson's right around that area. I like a Devin Lloyd from Utah, though. He's a sneaky pick. Enjoying those? But yeah, those are who I would go if I were the Saints. All right. That leaves one team. Tom Terrific. Tom Brady is back. They re-signed Chris Godwin, Rashard Perriman, and signed Russell Gage. Re-signed Carlton Davis. Signed Logan Ryan. Very good corners. Re-signed Ryan Jensen. Traded for Shaq Mason. And re-signed Leonard Fournette. They really need a guard, tight end, edge rusher, wide receiver, blah, blah, blah. You know, I like this idea for the Buccaneers. They have Chris Olave there. And I know I've thrown his name multiple times already. But I like Chris Olave. I think he would be a good pick for Tom. Do I think that's what they go with? No. I think they'd more likely go with like a guard if they could. So they would need a guard to drop. I could even see them taking like a Tyler Linderbaum and switching him to guard so that they can get someone. Or even a Zion Johnson if he drops. That would be someone they look at. Wide receiver so low, I just don't see that being the case. And tight end, there's no one standing out really at tight end for the first round. This is a year where if you need defensive line, offensive line, quarterbacks I feel like are stretching, but a lot of people are wanting those for this year. So, oh man. Oh, with that, those are your draft previews for the AFC West and NFC West, AFC South and NFC South. So what does that bring us to? Well, the only thing I would like to also say is the Lakers are eliminated from even the playoffs or play-ins. I know the Nuggets and Timberwolves with 2 games left. Nuggets got to win to clinch the 6th seed or hope the Timberwolves lose so they clinch the 6th seed. So, fun times. And you know, as I like to do with my channels, I prefer to rate at the end because, you know, we got to show love to those who put in the work and are doing what they can. So, with that said, if you're on Twitch, we are rating, so be ready. But if you're on any other platform, stay tuned. So as we finish the raid there, as I'm switch back to my mode, like I said, any questions, feel free to email birosportstalk@gmail.com. Don't forget, Evo Retro, all your gaming needs, gaming accessories. Personally love the Pro Switch controller I have. I love the hoodie I got as well. Love their equipment. And of course, don't forget to check us out on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And I will see you guys this weekend sometime for some gaming. We'll probably finish the I gotta, you know, be me. There we go. But we'll probably continue streaming Final Fantasy VI, as it's known around the world. Final Fantasy 3 on the Super Nintendo. It's a very fun game. But we'll see. Maybe I'll switch it up, do something more modern. But in the meantime, I'll see you guys then.